Good evening. I'm Kari Ragan. Thank you for joining us for our concert tonight titled All Fach'd Up. We begin with a brief discussion with Maestro Dean Williamson about this term Fach as it applies to the world of opera singers. I hope you enjoy the concert. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dean. I really am eager to get your insight on this topic about Fach and its relationship to the concert that we're presenting tonight that I titled, to be very clever, All Fach'd Up. So let's start with defining the word Fach for our audience as it relates to opera.
As it relates to opera, it's kind of a made-up system from the German opera theaters to categorize the voice. So the word Fach itself kind of comes from to like a compartment or a container or a box. So they're trying to figure out where to put each of the voice types and to give a prescribed list of repertoire, of roles that these particular voice types would sing. I think the key for us is that we have to remember this was originally done for the German opera theaters, which are a completely different size than what we have in the United States. And therein lies the difficulty of sticking to the Fach system, at least for us in North America.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel like because of those reasons it doesn't work in the States, or do you think the system is antiquated?
To be honest with you, and because I used to run an opera company, I don't think it works in the United States. And I don't mean to be critical or harsh of what the Germans tried to do, which was really quite practical. But the truth is our theaters in North America are generally upwards of twice the size of what exists in Europe, in Germany, and in Italy. So we end up having to cast voices that are much larger than would sing in the equivalent role in a German house. Mm-hmm. For example, in the German Fach system right now, you have, for example, the role of Adina from Elixir as a lyric coloratura. But in the United States or North America and at the Met, we have full lyric sopranos who have a certain agility in the voice, who sing that role because they have to be heard into upwards of 4,000 seat house instead of a 1,500 seat house. Mm-hmm. Another example is Susanna, which I think I made a few notes here, is literally listed as a soubrette in the Fach system.
Wow.
In the United States, the same soprano that would sing Mimi in Bohème is hired to sing Susanna in Nozze di Figaro.
So what advice do you have for voice teachers who work with classical singers?
I would say if you have access to any of the coaching staff, or if you know anybody at the local opera company in your town that has a large theater, try to get some information from them, or just look at how they cast. Go to the performances, see what kinds of voices are cast. Sit in the audience and listen. You'll understand. I have a rule that I tell singers and conductors that the rules of acoustics, the laws of acoustics change once you get above about, I would say about 1,800 to 2,000 seats. Mm-hmm. And the majority of average size American theaters are 2,400 and up. So when you're about 1,200 seats, it's very comfortable. When you get to 1,800 to 2,000 and higher, it's a whole different universe acoustically. And so you end up having to cast voices that will carry into the large space, that will carry to the back theater, that will carry over an orchestra. Most importantly, in a Puccini opera, which is literally when you're on stage, even in La Bohème, it's literally like a wall of sound that comes up out of the pit. And the voice doesn't have to go over, the voice has to punch through that wall. That's why we have Puccini voices that are thicker, warmer, fatter, with a really solid core in the middle register. We don't care so much about the top or the bottom. We want to see that they're going to carry in the middle. A Verdi, Mozart voice, Strauss voice is what I call, it's more like a grasshopper. It will leap over that wall. So it has to have more of the higher higher frequency, the higher formants, the higher spin, we call it, in the sound. And so there are many voices, for example, many kinds of sopranos that have that spin in the sound. So instead of saying you have to be of a certain type or a certain decibel volume level, what I listen for is, does it have that spin? Does it have that sheen? Does it have that strength in the middle? These are qualities that work in the bigger acoustics that you don't have to worry about in the smaller German and Italian houses.
Well, unfortunately, we lost Dean. He's in Italy and his internet connection on Zoom is a bit unstable. So I'll just share a couple quick thoughts here as we begin the concert. It has been such a great privilege to explore the boundaries of the voices of my singers through this project, which originally was planned to just be something fun. Who doesn't want to sing an aria in a Fach other than their own? And as you'll see, we have a great deal of variety. We have a baritone who is singing a countertenor role. He's not a countertenor. We have females singing male roles. We have a full lyric mezzo singing a coloratura, a dramatic coloratura role. So it's been fascinating to explore that, and we'll be discussing briefly a little bit about what they've learned along this vocal journey. So I hope that you enjoy the concert.
Hi, I'm Ashley Beal, and normally I am a lyric coloratura soprano, but today I am playing with some full lyric repertoire. Last time you may have heard me sing Constanza's aria Ach ich liebte from Mozart's Abduction from the Seraglio. Here is a refresher. I wanted to try on some full lyric rep to keep building up the voice as I'm in sort of a growth phase right now. And I picked Song to the Moon from Rusalka because it is my favorite. Working on this has really made me think differently about the breath, and I've gotten a much deeper connection to my low abdominals and pelvic floor. And it's also been fun to indulge in a piece that really lets you savor each note. After listening to the playback, I almost want to apologize for the slow tempo, but I won't. Anyway, please enjoy Song to the Moon from Dvorak's Rusalka.
My name is Lauren Kalesa. I usually sing in the coloratura soprano Fach, which includes operatic roles such as Marie from La Fille de Régiment or Adele from Le Compartment. Here's a short snippet from the aria En proie à la tristesse from Le Compartment. For this concert, I chose to sing the famous tenor aria, A mes amis, from the Fille de Régiment. I chose this because, in addition to this probably being the only opportunity to sing this aria, I also have sung Marie's arias from this opera, and I thought it would be fun to sing an aria of her romantic counterpart. By exploring a different voice part, I realized that as a soprano, I tend to modify my high notes to more of an ah or whereas a tenor usually keeps those more of an a vowel. Because of the difference in registration between men and women's voices, we tend to modify our vowels differently. I'm singing this aria an octave above where it's written, so it might sound like it fits into my repertoire, but I really don't sing it the same way a tenor would. I hope you enjoy my Fach'd Up version of A mes amis from La Fille de Régiment.
Hi, my name's Emerald Leslie, and today I'm going to be singing Pourquoi me réveiller from Werther by Massenet. Usually, I'm a soprano, and on the last classical recital, you saw me singing Song to the Moon from Rusalka. Today I'm going to be singing a tenor aria for a couple of reasons. One, I love this aria. So when Dr. Ragan said I could sing something that's outside of my Fach, I decided to sing this. This is something I usually don't have a chance to sing. It's one of my favorite things. But the second reason is because I work with trans singers a lot in my studio. And the things that we work on most, I think, when I'm working with trans students are exploring new parts of the singer's voice, such as if someone has been taking testosterone, they're going to gain some new low notes, so we have a whole new part of their range to explore. Or we explore parts of people's ranges that they haven't really used a lot previously. So for me, again, I have low notes, I always have, but I'm a soprano, so I don't ever really get to use them other than in vocalizing. So this has been really fun for me to get to actually work with Dr. Ragan on this part, the below middle C part of my range, that I'm honestly fairly unfamiliar with. So this has been a really cool experience for me. I think I can at least sympathize more with my students who are, trying to get familiar with different parts of their ranges or new parts of their ranges. So I hope you enjoyed this. I've had a great time working on it, and thank you so much.
Pourquoi me réveiller au souffle du printemps? Pourquoi me réveiller sur mon front? Je sens tes caresses et pourtant bien proche est le temps des orages et des tristesses. Pourquoi me réveiller au souffle du Demain dans le vallon viendra le voyageur, se souvenant de ma gloire première, et ses yeux vainement chercheront ma splendeur. Ils ne trouveront plus que deuil et que misère. Hélas, pourquoi me réveiller au souffle du
Hi, My name is Daryl J. Jordan, and my usual Fach is a lyric baritone, which includes opera roles such as Count Almaviva and Papageno. Let's take a quick listen to about 10 to 15 seconds of me singing the Count.
Vedrò per vagabone ogni cammino intendo in me le sue affetto che per me poi non ha che per me poi non ha vedrò
Up next, I'll be taking on the role of Circe from Handel's opera Circe, singing the aria Ombra mai fu. In this aria, the character opens up the entire opera by saying, "Thank you, tree, for providing me with shade. Whether through storm, thunder, or lightning, may it never disturb your peace." Now, I've chosen this aria for a number of reasons. The first, simply it's beautiful and I've always enjoyed listening to it. Secondly, as a voice teacher, it's important for me to continue to explore recognizing the differences between head voice and chest voice, whether I'm working with a bass, baritone, tenor, or countertenor, and even if I'm working with a treble voice, such as a soprano, mezzo-soprano, or contralto. Now, there were a number of cool things I learned while singing in 100% head register. First, if my onset is not coordinated, there is no way I'm getting through one of those longer phrases. And secondly, it helped me navigate which vowels best maximize my resonance strategy.
Fach'd, and today I'm going to be singing Voi che sapete from La Notte di Figaro. It is Cherubino's aria, which is a mezzo roll, and I am usually a light lyric soprano, and here is a sample of what I sound like. And I know this aria relatively well already since it's pretty popular, so it was an easy one to choose and it was a fun one to work on. I found working on this aria that I was able to translate a lot of what I've been working on with Dr. Ragan anyway, which as she puts it is kind of fattening up my voice a little bit. That translated nicely into working on this aria and they kind of complemented each other, so I got to exercise that same muscle in a slightly different way, which was great. So here we go. Okay, so.
Hello, I'm Ryan Beatty. I'm a baritone, and under normal circumstances, I sing roles such as Don Giovanni, whose aria I presented in our last studio recital. Here's a short snippet of De Vieni alla Finestra from Mozart's Don Giovanni.
Vieni alla finestra, o mio tesoro, che vieni a consolar il pianto mio.
This evening, I will sing Alfredo's aria from the beginning of Act 2 of Verdi's La Traviata. This is De miei bolenti spiriti. Alfredo is sung by a tenor, and in comparison to a baritone, the ranges of the two voices, with the exceptions of a few of the higher reaching notes in the tenor voice and the lower reaching notes that a baritone is most of the time expected to be able to hit, many of the same pitches are involved in repertoire for both voices. And as I worked on this piece with Dr. Ragan, we explored all kinds of things, the most significant of which turned out to be the fact that it's not so much about the range of this piece, because the original key of the aria is just a minor third above where I sang it on the recording, but it's a matter of the tessitura, where most of the range of the piece lies. There are a number of parts in this piece where the vocal line ascends in successive half steps through the upper part of the passaggio in the baritone voice, and would have been the exact same way in the tenor voice that often sings Alfredo at the higher pitch. So even though the notes in the aria in the original key are possible and certainly attainable, in fact, Dr. Ragan and I spent some time trying to figure out if maybe I should just try to record it in the original key. I'm grateful that I settled on a key just a little bit lower, and working on this piece has really helped to show me even more just that it's not a matter of the high note in a piece or a low note in the piece, but where most of the range lies, and that is usually one of the main projects that we are trying to negotiate as singers. I've greatly enjoyed working on this piece. I've kind of always wanted to sing it, so when Dr. Ragan said we were going to have this all Fach'd Up concert, I basically just started thinking through all of my favorite tenor arias and trying to figure out which one I might like to perform. So I hope you'll enjoy De miei bolenti spiriti from La Traviata.
Lunge da lei per me non va di letto, volaron già 3 lune da che la mia Violetta oggi per me lasciò dovizie, amori e le pompose feste. O voglio omaggi avvezza, vedi a schiavo ciascun di sua bellezza. Ed or contenta in questi ameni luoghi, tutto scorda per me. Qui presso a lei io rinascer mi sento, ed al soffio d'amor rigenerato scorgo dei caudi suoi, tutto il passato. De miei bollenti spiriti, il giovanile ardore, e la temprò col placido sorriso dell'amor, tal di che disse vivere io voglio a te fedel, io vivo quasi in ciel, tal che te disse vivere io voglio a te fedel. Ah sì, dell'universo in memoria io vivo quasi, io vivo quasi in ciel, io vivo in ciel, dell'universo in memore. Io vivo quasi in ciel, ah sì, io vivo quasi in cielo, io vivo quasi in ciel.
Hi, my name is Carolina Botero. I'm very happy and fortunate to be here in this amazing all Fach'd Up concert. I normally, in terms of Fach, have sung lyric soprano to some lyric dramatic soprano roles and arias. The clip that you're going to see next after this, it is, you'll see me singing a soubrette Fach. I am really excited that I was able to work on this aria that I will perform for you from the composer Henry Purcell, Dito Van Aeneas. I've always loved this aria. It's not in my Fach, but it gave me a really wonderful chance to really explore and understand these rich mezzo sounds that I won't necessarily explore in my Fach so much in this way. And so, first of all, I've always loved this aria and always wanted to sing it, and I was so excited that I had the chance at this moment to work through it. There were times where, as working through it was really challenging because I really had to focus on what I was doing in these sounds in this sort of Fach. And it was a great experience though to kind of explore how I could enhance my voice in these many ways with this aria. Also, the clip that goes with it shows some very important life moments for me. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's a combination of life, meaningful things about my life, with a combination of the powerful message that this aria conveys. So it's going to be an interesting combination in that regard, and I hope that you enjoy it.
Ragan and I'm a soprano, and my Fach is generally the soubrette. Some famous soubrette roles in opera include Selina from Don Giovanni and Susanna from Le Nozze di Figaro. Here's an example of my singing. I chose to sing Visi d'arte from Tosca, which is usually performed by a dramatic soprano Fach. I chose to sing this song because I've always loved this aria. It's so beautiful, it's very dramatic. And also, actually, to be honest, I knew that I wasn't going to have a lot of time to learn a new aria, and on paper, this aria actually looked quite straightforward. The music was straightforward, there was no tricky rhythms, and the language, was pretty easy. So everything seemed like, and it was short, and so everything seemed like it was fine. However, when I actually started singing it, I realized that it's actually quite deceiving. This is quite a demanding aria. So the thing that I learned from this experience is that in order to carry through those long, sustained phrases in this aria, you have to be very, very disciplined with your breath control. There's a lot of work that you have to do in order to sustain those notes and be efficient, and find those efficiencies whenever you can. The other thing that I learned was that when you're singing those really long and dramatic, really high notes, you have to find the resonance in your voice without really doing a lot of pushing and pressing, so that it doesn't sound labored. And this was something that I have to work a lot for this particular aria with the super high notes. I loved learning this aria, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Feci mai male ad animo My name is Susanna Meisel, and I am a dramatic coloratura. Typical dramatic coloratura roles include Cleopatra in Giulio Cesare, Poppea in Incoronazione di Poppea, Norma, Lucia di Lammermoor, Margherita in Faust, Violetta in La Traviata, Leonora in Il Trovatore, Salome, as well as the Mozart heroines Donna Anna and Donna Elvira in Don Giovanni, Fior di Rigi in Così fan tutte, Constanze in Die Entführung aus dem Serail, and Königin der Nacht in Die Zauberflöte. A couple of roles that might surprise you, but are still considered part of the Fach as defined by Kleiber, are Cho-Cho-san in Madama Butterfly and Voglinde in Götterdämmerung. One of the challenges in dramatic coloratura repertoire is the Fach requires the singer to perform in multiple vocal modalities due to the dramatic arc of the play. Often, the first aria and ensembles will be substantially lighter than those of latter acts, which tend to be more dramatic and with heavier orchestration. When Dr. Ragan explained the concept of this concert, I really liked the idea of choosing a piece I'd never have the opportunity to perform. I chose Mon cœur s'ouvre ta voix from Samson et Dalila by Saint-Saëns, which is normally sung by a dramatic mezzo. This song offered the opportunity for a resonant learning experience in my middle and lower voice. It was a really big breath support challenge to maintain resonance as the phrases inevitably dipped all the way below the staff. After a month of working on this song, I noticed I was better able to bring a sense of warmth and breadth into the top of my voice, which is something I'm always striving to improve. So that was pretty cool, even though my low voice will never carry through thick orchestration like Shirley Verrett.
Hello, my name is Dawn Padula, and I'm a lyric mezzo-soprano, which means that I normally sing roles like Carmen in Bizet's Carmen, or Orfeo in Gluck's Orfeo ed Eurydice. So here's a clip of my singing Orfeo's aria, Che farò senza Eurydice. Che farò senza Eurydice, dove andrò senza il mio ben? Che farò, dove andrò, che farò senza il mio ben? Dove andrò senza il mio ben? The aria I have selected to sing in tonight's Fach'd Up concert is the Queen of the Nights Act 2 aria Der Hölle Rache, which is known as her Vengeance aria. And this is a big stretch for me as a lyric mezzo-soprano. I'm actually singing this aria in a lower key, a slightly lower key, but even though it's a slightly lower key, for a coloratura soprano, for me as a lyric mezzo-soprano, it is a very high key. So instead of singing high Fs, I'm singing high Ds, but the entire tessitura of this aria really sits much higher. So something that it was great for me to experience what some of my coloratura soprano students experience as far as needing to manage, especially the staccati in the top of the voice, how to coordinate that with breath and phonation, something that I do as a mezzo-soprano as well, and I do sing coloratura as a mezzo-soprano, but doing it in this tessitura and doing it in the manner in which it is written is a very different experience. So, and also maintaining that higher tessitura for my voice is really good training. It was useful for me to know how to navigate those registrational changes as I learned to work on this aria. So. So
Hi, my name is Gemma Blinbin. I'm a lyric soprano, which means characters in my Fach generally fall into the Ina Eta category. Characters like Norina, Pamina, and Musetta. Generally when I sing, it sounds something like this. For this concert, I have chosen to sing in a Fach that's bigger and heavier than the one that I normally sing in. This means I get to explore colors and resonances and characterizations that I normally don't get to play with. I'm very excited because this kind of Fach is one that I'm hoping that I'll grow into. I'm still very young in terms of operatic career, but this is giving me an opportunity to explore something that hopefully I'll be able to bring to the stage, or in cases like today, to the screen for audiences like you. So without further ado, here is Liu's aria Tu che di gel sei cinta from Puccini's Turandot.
Thank you so much for joining us for this final concert in the summer concert series. Have a safe rest of your summer.